Hey y'all, welcome to week 24 of my pregnancy vlogs. I am 24 weeks and 1 day today. Sorry I did not do a video last week at all. It was a really chaotic week, and by the time I thought about sitting down and doing a video and actually had time to, it was already time for my weeks to switch over. So I didn't think there would be much of a point in it, I guess. So I'm just going to put everything into one video. The first thing that I found out, which in a way irritates me because my doctor should have told me, but in a way it don't because it was only a day off, so it don't really matter. My weeks do not switch over on Sundays like I thought they did. They switch over on Monday. Not a lot happened until Thursday. I didn't really have any kind of cravings. The regular heartburn and back pain was still like my major symptoms. But Thursday night, I started getting, like, the back pain started getting worse, and it started to get extremely uncomfortable. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the video before or not, but I cannot sleep at night anyway. I have, like, sleep apnea, whatever it's called. I really don't know what it's called. But I cannot sleep and I toss and turn a lot at night anyway, and the back pain was just making it a lot worse. It carried over into Friday and was getting to the point of me crying because I was constantly in pain, and Tylenol don't really work on me at all. It will ease a little bit, but it's not enough to subside or start to show that it was going to decrease or something. By Saturday night, I was going to call the doctor on call and talk to them about it and see if it's something that I need to go in and get checked for, because I know there is women who thought they was just having back pains and they was actually dilating and everything else. So I've been using icy hot patches mostly on my back. And then she said that pregnancy braces is something that I really need to start looking into. She was like, I don't really think you need one at this point, but if it gets worse, I would highly recommend looking into it. So that was something that was kind of like, okay, well, I've looked into them before, but I've never really been comfortable in them. But maybe my back is telling me that, hey, you need one to actually be able to be okay with everything. So Sunday came. I was feeling a little bit better. I went to church and everything, but I was like, okay, round ligament pain, that's all it is. It started coming every 2 to 4 minutes, and I started checking the time to see when it was coming, because it did not feel like it was Braxton Hicks at all. So that's not normal, you need to get checked. So he took me to the hospital, and normally in my hospital, if you were pregnant and you think it might be labor, you're having some kind of pains or something, they will have someone walk down, put you in a wheelchair, and walk you up. Which is how I expected things to kind of go. It did not. They was like, okay, well, we need you to walk up to L&D. And I was sitting here like, if this is real labor and I'm walking up to L&D, I'm probably going to punch somebody. I was just that annoyed. But I said, whatever. I got to see the pretty Christmas tree, so I didn't really care. Well, when they asked how far along I am, and he was like 24 weeks, she was like, oh, there's nothing we can do other than tell her if she's in labor or not. And I'm sitting here like, with Rain, y'all gave me a shot to stop the labor. You kept me on the monitors for at least 3 hours to make sure that labor wasn't restarting. And I was like, the farther along you are, I would expect doctors to be like, okay, well, this isn't the best thing, but we need to do something about, like, if you're, with Rain, I went into labor or had preterm labor type deals at 35 weeks. They gave me a shot to stop it, so I figured that's what was going to happen this time if it was labor. But I have a dimple, which makes no sense to me because the reason I have C-sections is because I can't dilate. So I was like, what does that mean? She was like, well, apparently you've dilated sometime in the past. I was like, no, I haven't, not to my knowledge at least, and they've never told me I did, which is the reason I had C-sections. 5 minutes of being on it, they took me completely off of everything. Heartbeat monitors, and contraction monitor. Well, my mother-in-law saw that I was getting irritation. She went out there and she's like, well, what are y'all doing? She ain't hooked up to anything, blah, 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 blah. She's like, oh, we'll monitor from in here, like out in the waiting desk area thingy. And she came in there, she was like, well, what's the problem? I was like, how are you monitoring me? I'm not hooked up to anything, even contraction monitor. She was like, oh, you're supposed to be hooked up to that. You took me off of it. So, after being hooked up for maybe 30 minutes, there's like, oh, well, nothing's going on. Just go home, make a doctor's appointment in the morning. And at that point, that I was sick of dealing with them because I didn't feel like I was getting the proper care I needed anyway with this pregnancy. And sorry, I was waiting to see you. I called my OB office and I was like, I need to talk to Palmer. I need to get an appointment with Palmer or something. She asked what was going on. I told her I was in the hospital yesterday. They wanted me to have a follow-up appointment, but I only want to see Palmer. So she said okay. And I love Palmer. There is, like, I want to say either 7 to 10 set of twins right now at my OB. And a lot of the OBs there cannot hear my name and automatically know that I'm pregnant with twins, but Palmer can. And I think that's so awesome. I feel like I have a connection with Palmer on that. Well, I went back to see him and he is like, well, go back to the ultrasound room. We're going to check and see what's going on with Palmer went in to give me an ultrasound and he was like, well, what did they tell you at the hospital? And I was like, well, the first thing that kind of threw me was they was rude. And he went off on a rampage. He was like, they shouldn't have been rude to you. That's not their job. They're in L&D, which is labor and delivery. They're supposed to be as calm as they can be with mothers in case they are in labor and all this crap. And he was pissed. So he asked what else they said, what else happened, like what was going on with that. I told him that she said that I had a dimple in my cervix, and I love him because he went, and I was sitting here like, really? Like, you're so goofy and stupid at times, I swear. He was like, well, it made you laugh and you don't look as stressed. So I was like, awesome. So he laid me back, he did the ultrasound, and the very first thing he says is, penis. I was sitting here like, what? He's like, penis, you know you have a voice, right? I was like, yeah. He was like, well, penis. And he turned the monitor around so I could see that Brian, which is on my left side, he is still breached, so he's still head up, but he was very willing to show. And you saw his little legs, and then you saw his little penis. And even by the ultrasound, it's like a regular 2D ultrasound. You could tell by his thighs that he's getting a little chunky, which is awesome. And then he did the heartbeat, which was 150, I think. 150 or 153, one of the two. And he was like, well, his heart rate is awesome. And they couldn't really find his heart rate yesterday. Or Sunday, I mean. So then he went over to Dominic, which is on my right side. And Dominic is also still breech. He's not up and down like this. His head is like right here at my side. So he didn't show his little boy parts, which is totally fine because I know he's a boy. But he checked Dominic's heartbeat, and his heartbeat was 157-ish. So the heart rates are pretty close. So they set me up. He talked to me a little bit more about the back pain that I was experiencing. And he was like, it's just going to get worse, and you know this, but because you are carrying twins and because of everything that's going on, he did prescribe me a muscle relaxer for my back that is totally safe for the twins. And I got it yesterday and was able to take one yesterday and was actually able to sleep for the most part, which is awesome. But he was like, you have these, you can take them when you're in pain. And he was like, it's no longer an if you want to spend the money, it's you need and have to spend the money because I have to have a pregnancy brace now. So that kind of sucked because even though around here, and I live in North Carolina, so around here pregnancy braces are from $12 to $50, depending on where you go and what type you get and everything like that. And I was like, okay, well, we'll see. So he sent me back to, like, we went back to his office. My foot's asleep, y'all, I'm sorry. But we went back to his office, and I was like, okay, well, do I need an MFM doctor? And he was like, well, before that, I told him that I'm getting to the point where I don't like any of the doctors at the OB I'm at besides him. And I was like, would you become my primary doctor? And would you deliver the twins? So make it to where I only see him the rest of my pregnancy, and he delivers. And he was like, okay, well, if you do that, keep in mind that if you go into preterm labor or whatever, I might not be the doctor on call. And I told him I understand that. I know all the doctors there. Sorry about that. But I know all the doctors there. I just prefer Palmer. And he said, okay, that's totally fine. Just to keep that in mind if I go into preterm labor or anything like that. So he is now my primary doctor, which makes me want to stay at the OB because I love him and I know that he will take care of me. Now we're back in his office. I was sitting there asking, I was like, well, when do I switch over to every 2 weeks? And he was like, after your next appointment, you should be at every 2 weeks. I was like, okay, so when should my next planned ultrasound be? And he was like, well, you should have one at your next ultrasound. And I was like, or your next appointment. I was like, no. So he's like, how often do you get planned ultrasounds? And I thought for a minute. He's like, well, let me look it up. I was getting planned ultrasounds every 6 to 8 weeks. And he was like, that's wrong because you are pregnant with twins. You are pregnant with identical twins. There's a chance of twin-to-twin transfer. He was like, that's BS. That's stupid. And it pissed him off. So he wrote down for me to have an ultrasound that day as well, which is totally fine. They had to switch me from the 8th to the 9th, which is whatever. So I do have an ultrasound, which is awesome. It makes me really excited because I love seeing my babies. Palmer asked, I don't remember where I was going with that. He's the one I see at my next appointment, which is also really good. And anytime I go up to the office to have a new appointment, I'm just going to be like, Palmer. That's the only one I'm going to see is Palmer. And if they don't like it, then they'll get over it. I am signing the papers to get my tubes tied. We have back pain's still there, heartburn's still there. I need to get a pregnancy brace. Oh, my mom's getting my pregnancy brace for my birthday since my birthday is on the 6th and it is I don't even know what day it is. The 20. I don't know. Thanksgiving is Thursday, I think. So whatever day this is. But she's getting my pregnancy brace. So I will have it on Saturday, I think. And I'm thinking about doing a review on it. But we'll see. Oh, my foot's like in the awkward stage of being asleep and being awake. What else? Cravings that I'm having is I am craving lemonade. I have pink lemonade sitting over there that y'all can't see because the chair's in the way. But I am craving pink, well, regular lemonade, but I want pink lemonade. Or, I'm craving regular lemonade, but I have pink lemonade. Let's see, what else? I'm trying to hurry up with this because this video is like 20 minutes long already. I'm not going to do a belly shot. I'll insert a picture. Thanksgiving. I hope y'all have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. It's getting cold outside, so make sure you stay warm. And I will talk to all y'all in my next video. Bye.